Hey, you guys, thanks for listening into this episode of Tips with Tea. On today, I have Miss Lesley with us. Hey, Miss Lesley, how are you doing today?
I'm so good. Thank you for having me. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you for asking. So, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
So, I am a certified Pilates mindset and habits coach. I'm working on breath work right now. I actually work with fitness instructors on how to build their business because so often people are like, I love fitness so much. I'm going to do it for a living and they don't know how to make money doing it. And then I also help women prioritize themselves with Pilates as their practice because oftentimes our ladies are working so hard for others, they forget to make time for themselves. So I do a little bit of both in my life as my job.
Awesome. So, how are you able to help women exactly how to have a practice and to have their business?
Yeah, it's a great question. So it really does come with scheduling.
Mhm.
I think I like to think of like I think we tend to let our schedule happen to us versus like, this is the time I do things. And that does come with boundaries. It's really hard to say no. And if you are listening to this and you work for someone, then you oftentimes don't get a lot of say in your schedule. However, there are some ways that you can really prioritize yourself. So how I look at a schedule is there are things that you have to put in. That's when you sleep, when you work out, your whatever you consider your priorities to be. So your family, I should see that in your schedule first.
Mhm.
And then obviously your work would go in after that. But I would love to see people put their sleep, their workouts and their family in before their work goes in. And then it's actually what you look at next is we look at what are the things that you want to do in your life going forward? What are the things that you want to have time for? So if it's your business that we're talking about, I call this the gemstones. I want you to make time for actually working on moving the needle forward in your business.
Mhm.
Oftentimes what do people do? They just go back to their email and they check and see what emails they got. Instead, it's like, no, don't check your email after lunch. After lunch, if you've got 15 minutes, do the thing that's going to move the needle forward. Email the person that's going to help you have an interview or help you with a project or get a new client. Do the things that are actually going to move the needle forward in your life. Prioritizing yourself. This might be like learning the new language you want to learn, or taking 15 minutes to plan that vacation you say you want to have. Like that's really important. And then what comes last is what I call glitter. It's the stuff that happens anywhere. You can text a friend back while you're in line or while you're sitting on Zoom waiting for them to start the meeting. There's a lot of things you can do. You can pay the bills. You can check the email 3 times a day
Mhm.
whenever you're waiting for the coffee to brew. So for me, it doesn't matter if we are talking about your personal life or your business. Your schedule will dictate what is going to happen and how you're going to grow. And if I see that you're prioritizing checking your email and responding to things versus actually making time for your movement rituals or the things that make you fill your cup first, or moving the needle forward in your business, both those things are important to be in the calendar before your glitter.
I'm glad you said that because my next question was, why is it so important for us to prioritize? And then how can we prioritize to include self-care? Because a lot of we do tend to forget about self-care. Self-care, um,
Happens when we're sick. We're like, oh, I'm
yeah,
sick now. I got to take care of myself.
it's very, very important and very, very essential for us to just take that time to take care of ourselves. So how can we incorporate that and make that a priority as well as, planning with people?
Yeah. Super great. So if you are a single person, that life it is a little easier for you. And so, yeah, you're busy, but no excuses. You don't have anyone like nagging at you to make you breakfast or things like that. So for those of you who are single, this is a great time to practice prioritizing yourself now before to really build up that muscle before other people come into your life. If you are someone who's a parent or a spouse, it really does come with conversations, like being really communicative. I need 30 minutes for myself at this time. Can you help me out with that? Can you do this? And then in exchange with your partner, then you give that to them. Right. And what's really important, it's not like it's when you start to take time for yourself, people around you, they might give you some pushback. They're like, why are you doing that? What's going on? And you just say, because I'm a nicer person to you when I do. Like because I'm a better person for that. So really having those hard conversations, and they're not actually that hard. You might actually inspire the person next to you that you're asking for them to give you that time to do that for themselves. So that's really like where it comes down. It's like having those conversations. And what you do with that time, it really depends on what fills your cup first. But I truly believe that if we fill our cup first every day, then we're more generous with others and we are kinder, nicer. We move the needle forward, we change the world because we have energy. But if you start the day with your half filled cup and then someone's like, hey, can I ask you a question? You're like, no, I need to do this other thing. We are a little bit more shorter with people. We aren't as generous. And that's not who we are. Like every single one of us knows that we want to be a generous person who sees others and takes care of other people. So what I would say is really come up with, and maybe you have to try things on. For me, it's Pilates. So the reason I love Pilates is you can do it anywhere. You can lie on the floor. So you can do it in your office. You can do it in your bedroom, in your pajamas. And it is one of the fitness methods that actually focuses on your brain connecting to your body. So you can't think about your to-do list. You can't think about the kids that are screaming. You only can focus on like, what is moving where? How am I doing this? It's like when I do squats, I can think about, what am I having for dinner tonight? You can't do that with Pilates. So for me, mat Pilates is like a way to prioritize myself. But for you, it could be breath work. It could be meditation. It could be reading a book and having a cup of coffee. Could be going for a walk around the block. You have to figure out like, what is the thing that makes you feel the most connected to yourself? Mm-hmm. And then you schedule that in your schedule, like literally put it in somewhere so that if someone is like, hey, can you do this for me? It doesn't mean you say no, but you have to reschedule that. And you're going to be a little bit more likely to say no or say, hey, can we do it 30 minutes later? And that's what's really cool about that. So I would just say, really find something that it helps you fill your cup and make you feel the most energized version of yourself and protect that time. And then what that's going to do is going to make you have more energy to be around the people you're going to be, and it's going to inspire them to do the same. I just know that I've seen when people are stronger and more connected to themselves, prioritize themselves, they can do more in a day. So if anyone's listening is going, I don't have time to take care of myself. Well, you find time when you're sick because you have to, right? And wouldn't it be nice to like stave off more illnesses because you connected to yourself more and you took care of yourself first?
Yeah, that's really a good point, because I try to incorporate like self-care time for me on Sundays, but I need to do it more during the week. Self-care time it can help you relieve stress, it can help you to refocus. And so I do need to start incorporating that, me myself personally, more during the week. I used to put in my calendar like at least 30 minutes a day, to where I just sit quietly and just like maybe play soft music and don't listen to nothing, don't look at me, don't turn on nothing, don't be on the computer, tablet, nothing, just have soft music playing and just meditate. But I got out of habit of doing that and I need to start back. But I'm glad you said that, because it is important.
Yeah. And you might be going 30 minutes. That's a lot of time every day. I don't have that, ladies. Yeah. Maybe don't yet, but here's what's really cool. If you give yourself 5 minutes a day, you're going to start to realize how good you feel. And when you start to feel good, you realize how good you didn't feel. So that's this interesting thing. But also, you'd be surprised what that good feeling does and how it allows you to be quicker, faster at other things, because you have more energy. And when you have more energy, you just move better. You think quicker. You can respond to things differently. You don't end up like getting frustrated, flipping out, and then you have to go apologize. That takes up more time in your day. But if you so then that 5 minutes can turn into 10 minutes because you gained more time in your day. And so I would just say, start with what you can do. And this is a really key thing. Anything that you're wanting to do more of in your life, it is so important that when you think about that thing, you think of it with kindness, support, celebration, excitement, joy. Our brains are conditioned to lean into things that make us feel good and avoid things that make us feel bad. So if every time you forget or you miss your self-care time, you're like, oh, there's another day. I didn't do that thing. I'm an idiot. I didn't get that thing done. Your brain doesn't know that you actually want to do that thing. All it knows is that thing makes you stressed out and feel bad. So really key to like just practice so much kindness. And this is hard for the overachievers listening, but when you think, okay, I want to do 5 minutes every morning in stillness, phone turned over, no sounds. I'm just going to be in stillness for 5 minutes. And let's say one day you wake up late, alarm doesn't go off on time. You wake up late and you're like, oh, I missed my time to do my 5 minutes. Take a beat, go, I'm so glad I remembered I want to take 5 minutes for myself today. I can't wait to find 5 minutes for myself later today. I'm amazing for thinking about those five, like just really pour in the goodness around that. And you will then find 5 minutes. Maybe it's in your car at the parking lot at work before you go in, and then celebrate that. And you'll also, that will train your brain to look for more ways that you can create self-care for yourself.
Awesome. So what are some tips that you would give us, like someone who wanted to succeed online during this time with their business?
Yeah, but this is great. So first of all, really own your uniqueness. I think if you are online, something that I see a lot of people do is go, well, I don't have enough blank, like the competitor that's out there that's bigger. And actually like shine a light and saying, you know why I'm so good? We actually don't have 3,000 of this for you, because all you need is this one thing. You just need this one thing that I've got right here. So just really own the unique quality that makes you different, and make that your selling point around your thing, because that is really going to make you stand out. Like, oh, wow, I only need this one thing. I don't need 3,000 options. Great. That's even better for me. The other thing I would say is really go all in on like one particular platform for yourself in the beginning. There are so many platforms out there, and yeah, you can at least own your handle on all of them, but you're one person. So like go all in on one. Yeah. Yeah. Which one do you love?
Right now for me is, and it depends on the business. Cause like now for me is like for M&J is Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
Those two, they're kind of like linked together now.
Yeah.
It wasn't. So, but like for instance, for my clothing line, now it's like Pinterest. Pinterest is booming. So you just got to figure out which one works best for your brand.
Yeah. Yeah. And that might take a little bit of research. Like if you like have a service-based product, you might go like, what's the best platforms for service-based products? And then you have to filter that with like, which one do I enjoy using as well? Because if you don't like using it, you're not going to go on it. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, there's all these ones, but get the handle, own it, and then just go all in on one. When you start to really get your groove, you get a system for things. Then you can usually with Canva and other things like that, you can restructure the same exact thing. So it fits on Pinterest, so it fits on TikTok, whatever it is, but go on and also just make sure that you know who are you trying to serve? And please don't say everyone, because even if your shirt can fit every size, like there is a particular person you thought about when you were creating that thing.
Yeah.
And that's okay to really talk to them, because people really want to feel seen. That's all they want. They want to feel seen. They want to feel like someone created that for them specifically. And so it doesn't mean that people who you're not talking to won't end up buying it or end up looking at it. I specifically talk to, with my Pilates platform, I specifically talk to women in their late 30s, early 40s. Like that's my jam, because I get those ladies. That's me. I have a ton of people in their 50s that love our stuff and they follow and they're in our memberships, and they don't feel left out. Because they want to feel, they actually, even though they're 50 in age, they want to feel like they're 40 in age, and they like that group. So you're not going to actually exclude as many people as you think, but you will stand out. And that is the key. And then my last tip is just stay the course. Mm-hmm. Like there's a great book I didn't read, but the gist of it is The Dip, right? From Seth Godin. If you can every single idea has been done. So pretty much every business is out there already. Mm-hmm. And if you can figure out like what the dip is, where everyone like has to like, they're in it and they just like this downhill, they're in this dip, but then they come out on the other side. If you can figure out what that is, what that longevity is, then you just have to get through that part. And there's fewer people. Like we're on a podcast right now. 70% of podcasts do not survive past their 7th episode. 70%. That means if you can get past 7 episodes, you're already in the top 30%. Mm-hmm. Then if you can get past 50 episodes, all of a sudden you're like in the top 15%. Right. And so it doesn't take a lot of effort to actually like get past the dip. Mm-hmm. And then what's really interesting that I found out from people, because I interviewed, I was like, okay, how long did it take you? Right. Just ask. And they said, after 2 years, we started making significant money off the podcast. Okay. So I'm in it for 2 years. Mm-hmm. Cool. Mm-hmm. It makes it easier. So stay the course. Don't think it's got to like take off for it's a dead thing. No, you just keep going, because so many people quit right at the same time. And if you can stay past that, you will make it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Miss Lesley, for being on the show today, giving us your wonderful tips. So I'm going to share the social media handles so you can tell our listeners how they can get in contact with you if they would like. And if you're offering anything, please share.
Yeah. If you are interested in Pilates, you can just go to onlinepilatesclasses.com/free. And I love meeting people on Instagram. That's my place. You can definitely talk to me on Facebook too, as T said, they're the same. I am on both, and I am really passionate about helping women prioritize themselves, whether it is in their life or in their business. So reach out, let me know what you got going on, what questions you have, and I'm happy to answer.
Awesome. And if you guys want to get in contact with me, feel free to do so. My number is 910-317-0396. You can shoot me an email at contact@mjfinancial.biz. You can visit the website, www.mjfinancial.biz, and you can find this episode on Anchor, you guys. And you can also find the playback for this video on the YouTube channel for M&J Financial Management. So thank you once again, Miss Lesley. I highly appreciate you for being on the show today.
Oh, thank you for having me. This is so fun. Thank you.
And all right, you guys, we will see you on the next episode of Tips with T.